Hi, this is Isabel Litzler, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So today's video is about improving in terms of networking, how to create and use a network. This is based on an article that you can read. I will link it below. It's the Harvard Business Review. They have a lot of great articles, especially networking and other topics around career. I definitely suggest you check that. And you read the full article as well because it will give you some insights. This video is just a summary of what's in the article. As an introduction, I would say, just based on my background and what I experienced, that in a few years back, I would say the way you built your network was pretty much industry based. So if you were an accountant, you were with accountants. If you were in marketing, you ended up at marketing events. And even now you have a lot of clubs that are niche specific in terms of your field of work. So as of today, you still have the networking for accountants and for marketing and for HR and all that. So I would say up until recently, it was based on the type of work. And I think to some extent it has its value because this is really where you want to expand and this is your field of work. So it's understandable. However, it does show some weaknesses and this article goes into depth on that. So that's why I want to share that with you, of the reasons why and how they see networking, especially if you want to become a leader. Because the thing is with this way of networking where it's based by trade is that it has its limits. I mean, obviously, if you want to grow within an organization, at some point, you need to take on a role where you do a bit of different jobs. So you might end up doing marketing plus other things because now you become the VP or senior leader. So you have responsibility for a bunch of different departments. So this is where you have to be aware of the limitations. So in this article, basically, they share networking. They basically split it into 3 types of networking. Number 1 being operational. Number 2 is being personal. And number 3 in being strategic. So what I just shared with you, the networking by trade and all that, that would be typical of the number 1 operational networking. So you get your job done, and that's really how I led my career. I got my job done, and I was trying to go in the evening to meet other HR individuals to share HR stuff, maybe learn a little bit about new software and what kind of companies are, what are they doing what, and talent management and training and all these things. So that was really the operational HR and growing. Basically, if you look at it from an organizational development perspective, you're developing your skills based on you're expanding your role, but you're not expanding globally in the organization. You're just expanding your own job. You're growing your own job, and it's called, with the HR lingo, it's called a growth in scope, meaning you're doing more of HR, you're doing more of accounting, and that's usually the way people expand in their companies. They do more of the same thing, maybe a different part of it, or maybe they pick up duties that are very connected. So HR might end up doing a bit of accounting, or accounting might be doing a bit of HR. This is typical in international organizations, for example, when you have one person that's involved with both. But that's the extent of it. You would have maybe pick up duties a bit elsewhere, but not too much. So that takes you really in an operational type of networking when you meet other accountants, other HR, in dinners and functions and all that. The second way of networking is the personal networking. So you end up meeting people to enhance your career, but it could be based on interest. Like I love skiing, for example. So you meet people in ski events, or you meet people that do dancing or play music, or you just like that person. We've all had those colleagues that we really get along well with. Maybe they're not in our departments, but we have this 1 or 2 people that we really love having lunch with, and they become buddies and so forth. And you end up always spending time with these people because you like them and they like you, and you get along well and so forth. The problem with these 2 first types of networking is that they're very limited. So if you only go to HR events, you only go to accounting events, and you end up sticking around a few employees within your company and that's it, you're always going to be a manager, that article mentions. You're always going to be a more operational type of person, and it's going to be hard for the company to see you as a leader. Now, the one thing that leaders do more of, and this is really the heart of this video or the core of this video to understand, is that they build strategic relationships. So, and not to be confused with being a user or using people, but they're just a bit more thoughtful about how they network and why. So if you're doing the two things I just mentioned, which I think are more widespread, I would say, you need to do more of the number 3, which is really the strategic type of relationship, so that you can grow a little bit beyond your managerial role. So for example, you understand the priorities of the organization, the challenges, now with what's going on, digitalization, maybe lack of resources, and you start really expanding both internally and externally to understand who could be great people to know that could maybe become consultants for the organization, and people who could bring some solutions. So that's seeing you, the company will see you as huge value to bring those resources inside the company, and you also see the longer vision. So you're not just an operational person, you're someone who's seeing long term. You're someone who can bring the right talent inside the organization that will help get the processes, the procedures, but also the spirit of the organization go a bit further than just doing the same thing as usual. And we do need that right now. We do need to be innovative because things are going very fast, and only the companies that understand the new way of working are going to make it. So where disruption is around the corner, where things are very, very speedy, where there's a complete transformation of the way jobs are being basically active right now, you need to be that kind of a person who can be very good connector. So becoming a connector is going to be a huge skill going forward. Someone who can identify people and really match resources together. So imagine you're a little bit like like an app that matches needs and resources, but except you're a human being. So you're doing that with your brain. But if you're a connector, if you're someone who can say, hey, there's an opportunity here, there's a resource here, let's put it together, you're going to be huge value within an organization. And that could be with processes as well, with technical stuff. If we have this kind of database or software, or if we use this system, we would gain, a lot more effectiveness, lose less customers, etc., etc. So you become a little bit this go-to brain inside the organization who can think a little bit beyond their typical tasks. So if you're able to do that, you're networking strategically, you're finding people strategically that can really enhance your job and the company, as opposed to having lunch with the people you like and people or are doing the same work as you. So I welcome you to check this article. Again, it's very resourceful. They go more in depth about what I just said. So that's why if you want more information, I think it would really help you position yourself for this upcoming year, maybe to be seen as a different person within your organization. Because as I like to say, sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. Maybe you can be someone that grows within the organization, and that way you don't have to leave if you want to get a promotion, for example, or stay where you're at. So again, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to comment below. Where are you at right now? Are you happy with your current job and you want to stay there but just expand? Or are you looking for something completely new outside of the company, and you want to make it from manager to leader? And by the way, I have this club. It's the C-suite. We're learning those skills in detail, how to network, how to create opportunities. I definitely welcome you to check it out. So click below and book a call with me if you're interested, and I'd like to know more about your project. Thanks.